Welcome to the Late Break Show. I'm Jonny Smith, and this is the second episode of Projects of the People, where we encourage you to send in some 2-minute clips of what you've got in the garage or on the drive or in the shed, what you're working on, why you've bought it, what it's about, why it turns you on. And I have to say, you didn't disappoint. The first batch of car vids are all very different, but they share one thing in common: air-cooled engines. We've got a Tatra V8 and a Trabant in Norway, a base model Beetle in Somerset, and a 1984 VW Scirocco converted to EV power some 20 years ago.
Hi guys, I'm Ola, I'm from Norway, and this is my 1964 Trabant 601S Deluxe. This car I purchased 6 years ago from an East German doctor who used this car to flee together with his family to the west after the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. When I purchased it, the car has been sitting in a garage for 25 years. The engine was non-running, and the brakes and pretty much all suspension parts needed fixing. The engine is a 2-cylinder, 2-stroke, 600 cubic engine, which has only 5 moving parts. It's probably one of the easiest cars to fix. The car, as it stands now, is in running and driving condition. And my project for this winter is to refurbish the front suspension and fix the padding on the seats, because they're getting a little bit tired after all these years. The car is in 100% original condition, apart from the roof rack, the skis, and the suitcase. These are the original German, East German number plates. And these are my Norwegian license plates, which are a homage to the Berlin Wall. This here is my 1974 Tatra 603. The reason why I purchased this car is because it's the last Tatra which is based on Paul Giret's streamlining idea. Paul Gilera was one of the pioneers in automotive streamlining back in the days. The other reason why I purchased this car is because it has an air-cooled V8, which I'm coming back to in a second. A project for this winter is to upgrade its petrol heater, which is placed under the seat, with a modern Webasto diesel heater. The engine is a 2.5 liter Hemi V8, which is air cooled. The engine is cooled by 2 turbines, one on each side of the engine. You see on the right here, and the left one is currently disassembled. It is also cooled by 2 oil coolers on each engine bank. The reason why I have the engine out is because it has a major oil leak, which I'm currently investigating. Also, the left turbine acts as a generator for the car. And this here is the engine bay of the Tatra. The black box you see here is the original 1974 thyristor electronic ignition module for this car. The car came also with 4-wheel disc brakes in 1974.
Hello there, my name's James, and this
is my 1972 Volkswagen Beetle.
It's 1200, means it's the base model, came with absolutely nothing on it. In Germany they call these the Spar Kafer, which means savings beetle. I'll quickly show you around. This was my very first car. I got it when I was 17, just before I passed my test. Little story on the day we went to get it, we collected it from Worcester. My dad drove it home back to Somerset because I hadn't passed my test yet. And on the way home on the M5, the engine blew up. Overheated and just melted completely, which was a bit of a bummer. But fortunately, on our road, there was a bloke called Winston, who used to be a VW mechanic, and he sourced a new engine for us and replaced it on our driveway. So shout out Winston, absolute legend. It then became my only car. Drove it every day for about 4 or 5 years. Went on loads of adventures together. It came with me when I moved away for university. Went on loads of adventures, drove it all the way to Cologne and back. Since been in this garage for the last 5 years, but I'm hoping to do it up, get it back to its former glory. It's going to get a full respray back to its original colour of marina blue, full rewire, and a new interior. And it's going to look just as it did in 1972.
He speaks very quietly, but like me, James bought a Beetle in light blue before his driving test, and he still has it, and he originates from Somerset. Unsurprisingly, I feel connected to this man.
I'm sitting here on the front bumper of just one of my projects. This is a 1984 Volkswagen Scirocco GTI, and it's an electric vehicle project. But what makes it a little more unusual is it's actually been an electric car since 2002. And this is a conversion I started in around 1999, 2000. I used to go out to America for a few weeks each year and help work on a Porsche 914 electric race car. And a lot of the ideas I brought to that project I adopted and did the conversion on the Scirocco. And it was possibly the first road legal electric car in the UK capable of over 100 miles an hour. I may have had it up to that kind of speed on the M1 on one occasion. Now, I sold the car in about 2006, new projects, but a couple of years ago the person I sold it to got in touch and said that they needed to sell the car, that it had stood for a good number of years and was not in great condition, and I bought the car back and will be putting it back on the road. Structurally it's still basically fine, there's maybe one little tiny bit of structural rot I've got to take care of. Cosmetically it's a disaster, the interior is more or less trashed. Every panel has rust spots, but nothing catastrophic. And I'm going to leave the electrics basically alone, except for upgrading to a lithium battery pack from the lead acid original.
How many concept designs ever actually get to see the light of day in full production? This is the 1991 Gilera CX125. Single-sided front suspension and rear. It's not clear exactly how many of these were ever made, possibly in the low hundreds, probably not more than 1,000. I used to own 2 of these, and I was involved in quite a serious accident on one when a white van turned a illegal U-turn in front of me, and this one has recently gone back together. The least said about the paintwork the better, and it is missing all its decals at the moment. This is another keeper, almost certainly just because of its rarity and the difficulty of finding another example. Sitting here resplendent in the morning sunshine is the motorcycle that I've owned the longest, over 15 years, longer than I've owned any other machine, car or motorcycle, and it's a 1977 Moto Morini 3.5 Sport, and the quirkiness only starts with the fact that they called it the 3.5 rather than the 350. The engine is an incredibly simple but clever design. It's a pushrod V-twin, but with a belt-driven camshaft, made to be as cheap as possible to manufacture and assemble, but still giving great performance, and are a beautifully balanced bike, which is why the club holds an annual track day, and over the years I've accumulated quite a number of the scrutineering stickers that the club uses, and I've got quite a few other bikes, ridden a lot of other stuff, but this is the one I always come back to. This always feels like home. This will be the last one to leave the collection.
Time now for some British creatures, great and small. When I say great, I mean big, not necessarily reliable. This is a Mini, a rare Range Rover and a barn-find princess.
Hi Johnny, this is my 1977 Leyland Princess. It's an 1800 HL. It's quite an early one on a 77R plate, and it's one I bought last year during lockdown after seeing it up for sale, and I decided it was about time I finally owned one. I've wanted one of these for years, and just been fascinated by the history of British Leyland, and particularly cars like this that always had an image problem and really were very much products of their time, I suppose. I've been told that apparently 77, the year this one was built, there were 300 separate incidences of industrial action, so it's quite amazing that this car exists at all, let alone that it survived till today. I really like the styling of it. It's unusual, it's a little bit strange. It smells exactly like the 70s inside. It's very brown and yellow in here. The car had been in a barn since 1992, so it's a proper barn find. It had the same owner from 1979 until 2019. Sadly, he passed away a couple of years ago. I've been in touch with a relative who says that the car was always well looked after, and when he decided to upgrade back in the early 90s, he put this one away in storage. And it's taken very little to get it back on the road. It came to me basically running and driving, but not roadworthy. So all I've done is to service it. I've had the hydrogas suspension rebuilt, so that works perfectly. It's ever so comfortable. It drives brilliantly. It's basically had a service and a tune-up, and it's on the road.
Hi, my name is Martin, and I'm going to show my contribution to the project car during COVID lockdown. In my shop, I have actually 3 cars right now. There is a 69 Land Rover 2A. There's a 91 Land Cruiser that I'm working on with my son. Right now, front end is out. Hopefully this summer we'll have it all done. But the one I really want to talk about is the one here on the right. I own this one the longest. It's a 95 Range Rover Classic TWR. Actually one of about 20 known in the United States. And TBOR is because of Tom Waukesha Racing in the early 90s actually did some project work for Land Rover and came up with a supercharged Range Rover Classic that had an entire aerodynamics kit. It was sold in the UK during the 92, but in the US, about 20 of them were sold either in Beluga Black or in Brooklyn's Green, and a few of them also made it to Japan.
This is what I love about you lot. I learn about new cars from you. I had no idea that TWR ever made a Range Rover. Brilliant. Thank you, Martin. I love it.
So it's a fairly rare car. Has this huge, as I showed on here, massive front bumper. As with traditional Range Rovers, this would be a chrome bumper, but in the TWR version, which also has different rims, it has kind of more like a snowplow. Think of it as the early Range Rover Sport. It has side skirts and also a huge bumper in the back. The 95 Range Rovers are slightly different because they have what is a Land Rover Discovery dashboard in there, and it took a while for them probably to figure that out, and it's really only for 1 year only. So they call that one a soft dash. This car I've owned for about 18 years. It's got 250,000 miles on the clock. Was my original, kind of daily driver, but it is in need of, some paint and a few other repairs. There's a pesky leak and the window is cracked, so hopefully we're gonna replace that one soon. And if you want to know more about my car, feel free to ping me. Thank you.
Hey Johnny, welcome to a shed in Ireland. This is my 1992 SBI Mini, 1275 cc. So I bought it basically in a pile of boxes. The body had been resprayed and cleaned up, which was amazing, and then a guy just kind of lost interest in it, so I picked it up from there and bought it, made sure it ran, and then basically started taking it apart, everything apart, and cleaning everything. So I still have the fuel tank to go in, I still have fluids to go in, I have new wheels, new alley cats to go on. I made these custom little mounts for the wing mirrors, which I thought were quite cool, and just put them on the other day. LED lights, which are nice. And yeah, I've basically everything. This is like a pile of old crap that was with it, and I've basically taken everything out that's ugly and put in nice new clean parts and sanded and resprayed stuff. And yeah, I've never restored a car before, and I didn't realize at the time when I was buying it that the SPI is quite complicated, like with the injection unit and ECU and stuff. So, and yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. And wiring is a bit tricky, so I've never wired a car before, so that's literally what I'm doing today. You can see all my supplies, and I'm wiring little toggle switches there, and yeah, spraying some calipers, and I'm making up a little kind of dash mount for these toggle switches. So yeah, that's it. That's my 1992 Mini. Yeah, I love the channel. Keep up the good work, and I love watching the videos, and hope everyone's surviving lockdown.
It's all about retro Hondas for this next lot of clips. I say that though, one of them has a Porsche 928 in pieces, and there's also a Beetle in there. So it isn't really all about Hondas then.
So we've got my 1986 Honda Acty pickup here, a little 545cc 2-cylinder, runs, starts perfectly, lovely little engine, just updating to LED headlights at the front. Got a little bit of work to do on the interior. The one thing that doesn't need to be done is changing this stagecoach bus interior. That'll always stay. Got original dash, steering wheel and things like that though. Just need some updated door cards and window regulators because they're shot on both sides. Original one owner truck though, got the original stickers and things still on here. Bodywork's not too bad. It does need a respray because it's just been done awfully beforehand. The brakes need updating. This wiring, all of this battery tray, all needs to be done because it's bodged. But these brakes at the rear, we need new cylinders and shoes because they are just contaminated and seized and haven't seen action in a long time. So here we've got my 1970 VW Beetle. I bought this when I was 15 and spent a couple of years fixing up bits on it so it was ready for when I could drive at 17. We replaced the inner rear wings on both sides, replaced the spare wheel well, changed the headlights on the wheels and just updated a few little bits in and around the car. It's been 2 years and 20,000 miles since then and it is still going strong. The 1200 starts every day, every time I need it to, gets me where I need it to, which is exactly why I bought the bug in the first place. I didn't want to buy, you know, your average Corsa, your Clio, something like that when I was 17 because I knew I wouldn't enjoy it, it wouldn't stand out and it wouldn't be the sort of thing I could cut my teeth on the mechanical world with and tinker with on a weekend, you know, have as a little project. This was something that was simple, easy to work on. I didn't need to plug into a computer. I could just get in it, you know, get set sockets, get set spanners and fix most things on it. It's just been perfect for me really.
Hi guys, my name's Rick, or Rick the Spud, and this is my 1996 Honda Civic VTi. I bought this car in 2011 from one lady owner. It was actually abandoned around the back of some garages. It had been sat there for about 3 or 4 years and I bought it as a farm car. Pretty much by the time I got it to the farm I realised actually I was going to keep it myself. There was nothing wrong with it. I used it around the farm for a week. Everything on it worked other than 4 sticky brake calipers where they'd semi-seized on where it had been sat for so long. Stripped the calipers down, took it for an MOT and it went straight through. And then I've used it as my daily car ever since. It's also been to the Nürburgring, it's been to Spa, Cadwell Park, Goodwood Motor Circuit as well. And yeah, nothing seems to faze it. I've put some Recaro seats in it out of a Integra DC2. Which completely transformed it as well. The standard seats just didn't have enough bolster on and for track days you're falling out of the seats. And they also sit slightly lower as well, so when I'm wearing a helmet my head's not touching the roof. I also fitted these Team Dynamics wheels with Michelin Pilot Sport tyres and lowered it on BC Racing coilovers. I've fitted these facelift rear lights. They came on the 98 cars, which haven't got the orange indicator in them. There may have been a bit of welding that's happened in there, because if there's no rust on it, it's not a real Honda. I got this lower lip spoiler from EP Racing, which kind of makes it a little bit more aggressive. Also fitted these import style number plates, not because it's an import, but because JDM. As you can see inside the car, everything's pretty much standard other than these Integra DC2 seats. Oh, and aftermarket stereo, because it did come with a tape deck. Yeah, I think for 24 years old, she looks pretty good.
Rick's discovery of the VTi proves that sometimes cars look way worse than they really are. I'm so proud that this Civic has been saved and raced all over the place.
So yeah, that's it from me. So hopefully see you on the next one, and keep it sideways. No, stay safe. No, drive safe, and stay at home.
Welcome to my garage. My name is Carl. I built this little man cave myself. This is where I run my business from, and play PlayStation, and watch telly, and work on my car, and do most things really. This is my CR500. I built this myself. It's a 1996 engine in an 05 frame. That other one that I'm building, that's a road bike. That's a CRM250 engine in a CRF450 frame. They're the wheels from my 911 that I've got outside. They're quite nice actually. Cheeky bit of gold action. The 920s, having some work done. There's the wiring looms and stuff. Interior, all the odds and sods that you collect when you're a Porsche guy. All manuals and such. You got silly things like scarves, but I've also got one of these. That was given out with every 1978 Porsche 928, but hardly any of them got to the customers because the dealers kept them all, which about sums up car dealers, but hey ho. Yeah, this is my garage tour. I enjoy your videos. Obviously they're a lot better than mine. I'm just a silly builder. But yeah, if you'd like to come and see it when the car's all done. Obviously I've gone quite a long way back to where it should be. I'm replacing every nut and bolt. This might be a bit of a problem to source parts for, but it's what you do for a hobby, and you know, it's all of our hobbies, and we all love a cheeky garage, and when it's cleaned up it looks a treat.
This final video is of a vibrant Lancia Beta Montecarlo, which I have so many questions about. The thing is, I can't get them answered because its owner, David Kemp, decided to send this video without doing any talking. It's like a silent movie, but in colour, in a stranger's garage. I really hope you've enjoyed that cluster of clips for Projects of the People. For me, it's like garage voyeurism. I love seeing what people are into, what state things are in, and I find it motivating. So I hope it's motivated you in some way, or maybe encouraged you to go on a new mission to find a new piece of machinery to help you in some way. Even if it's just to rinse your wallet. But thanks ever so much. Don't forget, if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already seen the video about the car I'm sat in, one of my projects, I'll put the link above, and watch out for episode 3. Thank you. Bye.